Hey Run Junkies, many of you know that I live in the mile-high city of Denver, Colorado, and with 2 high-altitude races done and 1 more coming up on the calendar, I thought this would be a good time to talk about how altitude affects our running. If you've ever wondered how elevation changes affect your performance, let's dig into that right now. What exactly do we mean by altitude? I've left a link in the description below to an article by runner Ben Hahn, who suggests that 4,500 feet and anything above that is considered high altitude. That translates to about 1,400 meters. And certainly the higher you go, the more pronounced the effects. It comes down to atmospheric pressure and the body's oxygen delivery system. At sea level, you are experiencing 100% of that atmospheric pressure. All of that weight is actually 14.7 pounds per square inch on your body, which means the weight of all of that air makes the air more dense. The more dense that air, the more oxygen you get per breath. With every breath, you are pulling in air rich in oxygen because of that density. As you ascend in elevation, the atmospheric pressure decreases, which means that you are bringing in less oxygen per breath. So what does that mean for the athlete like myself who lives and trains at altitude and then travels to sea level to run a race? Oh, so many good things. Because of the cardiovascular conditioning that we do at altitude, our bodies are already conditioned to deliver oxygen efficiently. When we get down to sea level, then we are bringing in more oxygen per breath, allowing our muscles to work even more efficiently. So that athlete might find that they can train at the same pace with less effort, or they can run faster. They might also find that their training pace heart rate might come down a little bit. Conversely though, if you live and train at sea level and then travel to higher elevations, you might be surprised at the effects of that altitude change on your body, especially if you're not prepared for it. The thinner the air, the harder it can feel like you're getting a full breath. And depending on your fitness level and the elevation to which you're traveling, you might find that even walking up a flight of stairs will wind you more than you ever thought it would. When running, your breathing becomes a bit harder, making the oxygen delivery to your muscles less efficient, making your muscles and your legs feel heavy, and that might translate to slower paces. If you were to bring your normal training pace at a lower elevation to a high elevation run, that same pace will feel much more difficult. Another effect altitude has on the body is that you tend to get dehydrated faster. So when you travel to higher elevations, it is much more important to hydrate properly. Now for runners descending from higher altitudes to a lower altitude to run, those positive effects are almost immediate. However, for the runner traveling to a higher elevation, hoping to acclimate quickly, might be surprised at how poor a run feels. Acclimatization to running at higher altitudes is certainly possible depending on your fitness level. However, it's generally accepted that it might take up to 2 weeks to feel like you're back to your normal running self, and for full acclimatization, it may take a couple of months or maybe even more. Now, of course, most of us don't have that kind of time when you're traveling to a destination race at high altitude. So what do? Some research will suggest that if you travel and race immediately within 12 hours of your arrival, you might stave off some of those high altitude effects. Within 3 to 6 days though, you might feel the worst that you've ever felt while running. It's really, really hard. From one who knows, I'm saying. Even worse though are the effects of altitude sickness, which might manifest itself in headaches, fatigue, and even flu-like symptoms. Altitude sickness can be very serious if you don't know what the signs are and if you're not taking care of yourself. So please make sure that if you're traveling to a high altitude destination race, you understand what those signs are. I've left a link in the description below. Not everyone can live and train at high altitudes, and traveling to a high elevation race does present some challenges. But if you go into runs prepared for what those altitude challenges might bring, you may find that running at higher elevations like here in the mountains of Colorado will provide you with a breathtaking experience in all the good ways. My question for you today is this: have you ever raced at a higher altitude? Or do you live and train at high altitudes and then travel to sea level for all of your races. How do you manage altitude changes? Please leave thoughts, questions, comments, and suggestions in the comment section down below. And as always, give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe for more from Running with Grace. And if you want to see the good and the bad about running at high altitude, check out both of these race reports right here. That's it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Go find your awesome. Until next time, happy running.